The trail begins. Trump's early battles, 2017. Howdy, folks, and welcome to the Trail Explorer podcast, where we venture into the wilds of politics and adventure. I'm Alan, your guide, coming to you from my home base in Utah. Today, we're kicking off a four-part series, Blazing the Trail, Trump's First Term Trials and Triumphs. Picture Donald J. Trump as a trailblazer, stepping into Washington's swamp in 2017 with a MAGA hat, a Twitter account, and a mission to shake up the system. The liberal media, the deep state, the establishment, they threw everything at him. Fake news, protests, investigations. But like a seasoned hiker facing a blizzard, Trump kept climbing. As conservatives, we saw a fighter delivering for the forgotten America. The taxpayers, the workers, the patriots. In this episode, we'll hike through 2017, exploring the battles that tested Trump and the victories that defined him. So grab your boots and let's hit the trail. Let's start at the trailhead. January 20th, 2017, Trump's inauguration. The man hadn't even unpacked his bags before the liberal media pounced. Remember the crowd-sized debacle? CNN, the New York Times. They obsessed over how many folks showed up, claiming Trump's crowd was smaller than Obama's. Who cares? It was a petty attack to undermine his legitimacy from day one. As conservatives, we saw through it. The media wasn't reporting, they were sabotaging. Trump called it fake news, and boy was he right. Outlets like MSNBC and the Washington Post twisted every word, every move. They painted him as a clown, not a president. But Trump didn't play their game. He took to Twitter, his campfire on the trail, speaking straight to us, bypassing the biased press. That was revolutionary. Despite the media storm, Trump hit the ground running. He signed executive orders to gut Obama-era regulations, freeing up businesses from bureaucratic shackles. He greenlit the Keystone XL pipeline, a win for energy independence and blue-collar jobs. These were America First moves, showing conservatives he meant business. The media screamed, but we cheered. It was like Trump crossing a raging river under fire, slippery, dangerous, but he kept moving. The left wanted him to fail, but he was just getting started. By March, he'd already set the tone. No surrender to the establishment. That's the kind of leader conservatives craved after years of spineless rhinos. Next up, let's tackle one of the biggest fights of 2017, the travel ban. Trump signed Executive Order 13769, pausing immigration from 7 high-risk countries: Iran, Iraq, Libya, Somalia, Sudan, Syria, and Yemen. It was a common-sense move to protect Americans from terrorism. But the left lost their minds. Protests erupted at airports. ACLU lawyers swarmed the courts. They called it a Muslim ban, twisting Trump's intent to paint him as a bigot. As conservatives, we knew better. This wasn't about religion. It was about security. Those countries were hotbeds of instability, and Trump had a duty to keep us safe. The media ignored that Obama's own team flagged these nations as high risk. Hypocrisy, plain and simple. And the courts didn't help. Liberal judges blocked the ban. Imagine that. Overstepping their bounds. It was judicial activism at its worst, tying Trump's hands. But he didn't back down. He revised the order, tightened the legal language, and fought all the way to the Supreme Court. By 2018, the court upheld a version of the ban, proving that Trump was right. That's grit. Staying the course when the trail gets rocky. For conservatives, it was a signal. Trump would fight for our safety, no matter the noise. The left's hysteria only showed their priorities. Open borders over American lives. Sound familiar? Now let's wade into murkier waters. The Russia investigation. By mid-2017, the FBI was poking into Trump's campaign. alleging collusion with Russia to win in 2016. It started with leaks, then FBI Director James Comey's firing, and bam, Robert Mueller was appointed special counsel. The media went wild, claiming Trump was Putin's puppet. As conservatives, we smelled a rat. This was a deep state setup, cooked up by Obama holdovers and Hillary's sore losers to overturn the election. There was no evidence of collusion, just endless innuendo. The Steele dossier? A Democrat-funded hit job full of unverified gossip. Trump called it a witch hunt, and he was spot on. The probe dragged on, distracting from his agenda, but he didn't let it stop him. While Mueller snooped, Trump pushed tax reform, laying the groundwork for the Tax Cuts and Jobs Act. That's leadership, focusing on jobs and growth while vultures circled. Conservatives rallied behind him, knowing the Russia hoax was just that, a hoax. The Mueller report later in 2019 found no collusion, vindicating us. On the trail, 2017 was like dodging traps in a dark forest, but Trump kept his eyes on the path. Finally, let's talk about Trump's team, or lack thereof. 2017 saw crazy turnover. Michael Flynn resigned. Anthony Scaramucci lasted 10 days. Reince Priebus was out as chief of staff. The media spun it as chaos, proof Trump couldn't lead. But conservatives saw the real story. The establishment was fighting him tooth and nail. Senate Democrats slow-walked his nominees, delaying folks like Betsy DeVos and Scott Pruitt. Even some Republicans, rhinos like McCain, dragged their feet. Trump was an outsider, and D.C. didn't want his crew. Still, he got wins. Neil Gorsuch's Supreme Court confirmation was huge, locking in a conservative justice for decades. Mike Pompeo at the CIA and Nikki Haley at the UN brought strength to foreign policy. Trump wasn't building a team, he was assembling a war party to take on the swamp. For conservatives, it was like watching a guide pick the right crew for a tough climb, even if a few fell off going up the ridge. So what did 2017 teach us? Trump's first year was like starting a hike in a blizzard. Media lies, court battles, deep state traps, and team drama tested him at every turn. But he didn't flinch. He slashed regulations, fought for security, and laid the foundation for conservative victories. As conservatives, we saw a leader who spoke for us, finally. The forgotten Americans, tired of elite nonsense. Trump wasn't perfect, but he was our trailblazer, cutting the brush of political correctness and globalism. The left wanted him to fail, but he kept climbing. Next episode, we'll tackle 2018, trade wars, Kavanaugh's fight, and more storms on the horizon. If you're enjoying the Trail Explorer, hit that like and subscribe button on YouTube and drop a comment. What was Trump's boldest move in 2017? I'm Alan, and I'll see you on the trail. Let's wrap up with a viewer question. Why didn't conservatives push back harder on media bias in 2017? Great point. We were pushing back. Think Sean Hannity, Rush Limbaugh, and early ex-voices. But the left's media machine, CNN, NPR, they were a Goliath. Trump's Twitter was our slingshot, exposing their lies in real time. It wasn't perfect, but it started a revolution. What do you think? How can conservatives fight media bias today? Comment below and let's keep the conversation going.